It is time to talk rums. So, as many of you know, when we're looking at vanilla extract, we kind of put all of our alcohols into 3 categories. And those categories are expanding a little bit as, you know, we're getting feedback from other customers. But we go from bourbon, which is smoky, to rum, which is sweet, to vodka, which is just pure, is the word that we use.
Yeah.
So our last video, we spent a lot of time going over 5, 6, 7 different vodka brands, and we had a good discussion about vodka and what the best vodka would be. Now we're going to do it about rums. Okay? So rums. Let's talk rum. Why do we like rum so much for vanilla extract?
It's sweet.
And what makes it sweet? Where does rum come from? It comes from sugarcane derivatives, primarily molasses and sugar juice. It originated in the Caribbean, Pirates of the Caribbean, I mean, all of the, that's where rum came from. And so it's a derivative of sugar, so it's naturally very sweet. Now, there are 3 categories of rums that we will consider as you look at extract making. The first is your silver or your white rums. The second is your gold rum. And the third is your dark rum. Now, there's a million subcategories. I'm kind of overgeneralizing, but those are the 3 primary categories: silver, gold, and dark. And now let's talk about each one of them and what makes them silver, gold, and dark. So first off, a silver rum. Every single rum that you buy starts white. It starts clear. It looks just like this. This is kind of a funny rum that we're going to be reviewing here in a minute because we just love that we found this one. But they're all distilled. They're all mostly filtered. And if they're poured directly into the bottle after being distilled and filtered, then they are that clear color. They look like water.
Water, yep.
And so the primary smell of a silver rum, when you smell it, is just sweetness. You get a little bit of the boozy, but really, it's just sweet. You smell the sugar, and that's essentially the scent of the rum, which makes rum great for extract making because it's sweet. So, go ahead.
And we usually add it to sweet things.
And we usually add it to sweet things. So let's talk about silver rums that we like to use. So I have this rum up here because we think it is funny. So everyone always says, do you have to buy top shelf alcohol to make your extracts? And the answer is absolutely not. You don't necessarily get a better extract if you're on the top shelf. Sometimes, though, if you go to the bottom shelf with some alcohols, you can get yourself into trouble. We typically try to stay mid-shelf, and there's few exceptions. For those of you that maybe drink rum, you may already have a favorite rum that you love, and you should use that rum.
Yeah.
If you've got one that's tried and true and you like it, use it, enjoy it, have fun with it. You know what to expect. It's going to be a great rum. For those of you that have never had rum before, and we have a lot of people that are just kind of learning about alcohol or what to use for extract making, hopefully this is a little bit helpful. So, typically, as it relates to white rums, our favorite white rum that we typically use is a Captain Morgan white rum.
Yeah, middle shelf.
It's a middle shelf rum. It's sweet. It's not, you don't want the story of the extract to be the alcohol. You want the story of the extract to be the vanilla beans. And so you don't want to get a rum that is so strong and overpowering that what you taste is the rum first. You want a rum that really marries well with the beans, and a Captain Morgan white is our favorite. So that's an example of like a mid-shelf. So then you go to the lower shelves, and on this one we're laughing because we went, just to experiment, to the very bottom shelf of our local liquor store, and this rum cracks me up, right? This is called, and maybe some of you have it and you like it, but this is Mr. Boston. So the name is Boston.
Yeah.
The rum is made in Kentucky, of course, because when you think of Kentucky, who doesn't think of pirates and rum, right? And it says it is made Caribbean style. So on the label, you've got Boston, you've got Kentucky, and you've got the Caribbean all on one label. And we thought, oh my heavens, is this going to be okay? Should we give it a try? But why not, right? Because sometimes you got to explore, and it was a bottom shelf rum. So then we opened it up and we smelled it, and we were surprised. It smelled actually okay. And then we made some extracts with it, and they're
fine.
Brewing right now, right? And so far they're fine as we're checking up on them. So we put this in the sous vide, and we'll be reviewing some of the sous vides that actually use this rum. But this one actually surprised us as a pretty nice white rum.
Yeah.
So white rum, in short, white directly from the distiller, the filter, into the bottle, clear, nothing's happened to it. So what makes then the next level of rum, gold rum, what makes it dark? Let's make sure we don't have any questions. I need to add Ecuadorian. You'll love the Ecuadorian. Hello from Michigan. First time watching, good to have you. Just making sure we don't have any questions there. So then when you get into a gold rum, what's the difference between a white and a gold rum? And the difference is this. A gold rum looks just like this at the beginning, but they pour the gold rum into a cask for somewhere between usually 3 years as a minimum, but you'll see like a 1 to 10 year range of a gold rum. And what happens when that clear rum is sitting in a wooden cask, and usually it's people here. It's resuming here. Our video. Hopefully everyone can still see us. We're going to keep going because it looks like we're okay. So a gold rum will sit in the cask, and then it takes on some of the color of the cask. And then what happens to that rum? So it's going to have the sweetness of a silver, but after this one here is a Bacardi Gold, after 8 years in a cask, what are some of the smells that you start picking up?
It's a tiny bit smoky.
So you're going to get a little bit of the smoky because it's likely being stored in a cask that was used originally for bourbon, but you're also going to start getting the oak from that American oak wood. Mm-hmm. And the oak will typically put off like a caramel, lemon, almost a honey scent. And so you're starting to get kind of a little bit of a spicy honey, caramel, lemon scent within that. Just a hint of it.
Just a little bit.
Yep. So we like the Bacardi Gold. This is a great one. This was aged for 8 years in a cask. And so you can see it as I hold it up to the light. Here's the silver, here's the gold. Just a little bit darker, right? Now you get to sort of the old aged rums that have sat in the cask for a long time. This is, and it's almost, we've used it in our last extract, and so we're almost out of this one. This is our Kirk and Sweeney 23-year rum. Now this is a top shelf rum. You don't need to go top shelf to make an extract, but this is one that we know many people in our group have made. It's one that we have made many extracts with, and every single time they turn out great. The only difference between the silver and the gold and the dark rum is that this has sat in a cask for 23 years. So it's going to be much darker. It evaporates over time as it's sitting in the cask. And as it evaporates, the sweetness becomes more condensed. And so you get an enhanced sweetness, plus you get the caramel, you get the vanilla, you get all of the honey, you get the lemon, you get all of those wonderful tastes at even a more accentuated level. And so we love the aged for that reason.
So Pat wants to know, did you know all of this about spirits before we started extracting?
Do you want to know the truth? No. I didn't. You talk about, everybody laughs and you talk about the rabbit hole. And you're always asking great questions, and we're really working hard at Vanilla Pure. The whole team is to make sure that we're giving you as many resources as we can. So as many of these questions come up, we just go down that rabbit hole and we study and we look and we try to figure it all out. But no, we did not know this much when we started 4 or something years ago.
Not at all.
We have learned a lot. And then I hope we're being helpful, we've also learned a lot just by trial and error.
Yes.
We've used bad rums or bad alcohols.
We have.
And then you wait all that time and they turn out horrible, and it's like you just wasted a year. So the reason we're doing this is hopefully we're helping you maybe take some shortcuts and not have to make the same mistakes that we make. But no, we have learned all of this just in the last 4 years as we've been trying to be helpful to all of you and to provide you with as much information as we can. I love it. The final thing that I do want to talk about, all rum is gluten-free. And that's a question we get all the time. All rum is gluten-free. Where you may run into a problem is when you get into flavored rums, just like flavored vodkas and others, the flavor additives may not be gluten-free, so you've got to be careful. I'm not going to spend any time in this because we have a whole video segment dedicated to spiced rum vanilla extract. The only artificial flavor that we have tried and that we love is the spiced rum Captain Morgan vanilla extract. It's wonderful for holiday baking. If you don't have a spiced rum extract going, you ought to have one going for the holidays. Here's another flavored rum. This is the Blue Chair Bay. It's a coconut rum. We tried this. It was awful. I mean, in almost every instance where we've done artificial flavors, whether it's a vodka or whether it's a rum, it did not turn out that great, at least in our opinion.
Yes.
Right?
There was one, though. We do like the spiced rum. And with the Ugandan beans.
With the Ugandan specifically.
Yes.
Yep, the spiced rum with the Ugandan beans we love
for the holidays.
For the holidays.
Yeah.
But the coconut rum we haven't really had any luck with. So be looking for whether you get silver. Silver is a good rum to start with, mid-shelf. You don't have to spend a lot on it, and it won't encumber the taste of your vanilla. That's a great place to begin. If you like sort of that oaky, rich, and it becomes kind of naturally spiced, a taste of like a cask that has a little bit of that smoky from a bourbon cask, then go to like a gold. It's sort of one step. And then if you really want like an aged, rich rum that is really complex with smoky, oaky, caramel, dark flavors, you go all the way to a dark rum or an old aged rum, and you'll have even more taste within your extracts. And that is how the rabbit hole begins. Are there some questions here?
Someone said they love the rabbit hole, and we're so glad you do. Hi, Rolene.
Oh,
Raylene says that she uses the white rum because she has allergies to trees.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, and so from the casks, you get that. Yeah, thanks for putting that out there,
That's a
Roxanne.
great point. If you have allergies to the trees, you can't have any of the alcohol that's being stored in a cask, so you would just use the silver and everything. Yeah, wonderful point. Thank you. Is Bacardi an okay brand? Bacardi, this one here is a Bacardi. We have another Bacardi. Bacardi's a wonderful brand. You'll be just fine with a Bacardi, and you can usually get it at a pretty good price. You'll just have to decide whether you want like a white or whether you want a gold or a dark. All of them are good for their reasons. Captain Morgan's, a lot of people like the Captain Morgan. Everyone agrees. Captain Morgan is good stuff. Okay, so thank you. We just all went down a rabbit hole
we
together.
did.
How fun is that? Down the rabbit hole of rum. Who would have thought that we know that much now about rum? Let's see if there's any other questions. Thank you, Chris. Everybody's helping everyone. Thanks for all of you that are providing links and great questions, comments all around. So, have we tried Zaya rum? Oh my gosh, we have tried Zaya rum, and it is wonderful. We loved the Zaya rum. Don't have it here. That was one we tried maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and it turned out fantastic. So it's an older rum. I think it's a darker rum. I want to say it was north of 10 years, but absolutely a wonderful rum, and it turned out great. We can't have all the rums that we've tried, so that's why we try to just put them in the 3 categories of the silver, the gold, the dark. You choose, you decide. There's a lot of great ones that are out there.
And share what you like. We love that you're sharing here.
So thank you, Tricia. The Zaya rum's wonderful. Okay, Mexican Madagascar. That would be a wonderful blend if that's what you're talking
Yes,
about,
it would
Lisa.
be.
And the reason is the Mexican's going to be really kind of that mocha, cocoa, kind of a dark vanilla.
A little bit of a spice.
Little bit of like a spice and a kick to it. So if you put a little Madagascar in, it kind of softens the boldest tones of every bean. I mean, frankly, we were talking about this just today when we were preparing for this. There's almost a reason to throw in like one Madagascar bean into every single bottle of extract that you do. Madagascar just kind of ties everything together. Just that classic vanilla. And so no matter what you're doing, if you're doing a Tongan, an Ecuadorian, a Tahiti, whatever it is, if you throw in even a Madagascar bean, you're just going to get a little bit of that buttery, sweet, classic vanilla that will tie all of the other flavors together.
Yep.
Right? Okay. Congrats, Judy. Yes. What specific bean did you mention to go with the dark rum? Oh, well, this is subjective, and a lot of people may have comments about it, but for a dark rum, I would love a Mexican bean. Madagascar is good for everything, but probably an Indonesian, a Sumatra. The dark, earthy tones of an Indonesian, coupled with sort of that smokiness that comes out of the cask for a dark rum that's been in a cask for many, many years. Whenever I sort of think dark and smoky, I kind of go to like a Sumatra or even the Papa Indonesian bean. Those for me are always some of the very best. The darker the alcohol, I typically tend to stay away from the fruitier beans. And so if it's a dark alcohol, I'll typically stick with like a Madagascar or a Mexican or an Indonesian. If it is a light alcohol, like a white rum or tequila, we're doing some trials with tequila, or a vodka, those are the ones where you can use the Tongan and you can use the Ecuadorian, you can use the Tahiti, that are more of the floral ones, right?
Yep.
Okay, any other questions?
Stacy wants to know if we leave our beans after extracted in the bottle until we run out.
Oh, and don't apologize for being a newbie. That
We
actually
love
is
newbies.
we love newbies. That's a great question. Do you want to answer that one? Do we leave them in the bottle?
Take them out. Once it's extracted, then I'll show you what I have over here. This is what I use every day. This is Indonesian.
This was an Indonesian one, I believe.
Yep, and it has just a pour spout that I use a ton. And I'll just, once it's extracted, I take the beans out. I can put them in my mother jar, or I can put them in another extract and then add some new beans and then put more spirit in it and let it sit again.
Yep, we have another show about this, but the reason that we'll take the beans out is as you start consuming the extract, the beans get exposed, and there's a concern. We've seen images where people's beans have molded when they're sitting up above the alcohol. We've never had that happen here in Utah.
But it's very dry here.
But it's very dry here, and so maybe in a more humid environment, the moisture's in there, they could mold. So we pull them out, put them in the mother jar, or we dry them and turn them into vanilla bean powder, or we can use them for vanilla bean paste, or we can use them.
So many things you can use them
The
for.
only thing that we never do with beans is throw them out.
Yes, we don't do that.
That is the only thing that we don't do. So that is a wonderful newbie question. That's a question that we asked ourselves just a few years ago. So thanks for asking. What is your mother jar? We don't have our mother jar here. We've got a video you can see on our YouTube channel. We've got a video of a mother jar, and you can actually see the picture. We've got 2 of them now that are going. They're a gallon each, and they've got a ton of different beans, all from even different spirits.
Yeah.
We filled the mother jar. I want to say the current one was with vodka, or was it white rum?
Vodka and rum.
We have
one is vodka, one is rum.
One is vodka, one is rum, but we put beans in it. Some of the beans that we're soaking in bourbon, we put them in, with the vodka jar, and so you get a little bit of that bourbon and a little bit of the rum. But the main alcohol in each is
just one
alcohol, vodka, rum, and then it's just a whole kind of who knows what's in there.
Of whatever you
a
create.
Modge Podge of whatever you create.
And you can find more information about the mother jar on our website. Just look it up. And it'll take you
Under the extract section, it's a what is a mother jar, and you'll see it. Oh, and of course, Amy, there is the link right there in the comments. So if you want to look at that, but look for what's a mother jar, and you'll see all the different applications of mother jars. And they're great, by the way, for gift giving, because you always have all this extract that tastes good. And so when it's Christmas time, you want to give away extract, you can put the extract from your mother jar into a cute little bottle, cut up like a brand new bean and just put it in there for like the look, so there's a real bean in the bottle, and then your extract from your mother jar, and it works great for gift giving.
Wonderful.
So there's a million uses for a mother jar. So if you don't have a mother jar, get a mother jar.